Daybreak, it's a rather heavy topic here, even here in studio. It's just dealing with grief. It's the country's in mourning, but also one or two of us have also experienced this. And now what we're trying to do is just to let you know how to deal with it. And also, most important, to let you know that we may not be there with you physically, but we are with you mentally. And we'll try and get all the support that we can through our counselor here as well. And George, there's something here which I hate to ask, but can you really prepare for grief? Because some people say that when it gets to a certain point, the doctor now tells you there isn't much we can do. But when the time actually comes, are you even wildly prepared for it, in as much as you knew it was coming?
I'll just recap what we were chatting during the break.
Yeah.
I'll speak about my case. So 2 weeks before we had my daughter's birthday, and she had come out of hospital, come home for the birthday, and she was going back. And I always say I touched her and I felt black, and I knew this is it. So we went back to the hospital in a lot of pain. And even when I knew, even when the doctors were telling me this one is hot, I think like I said, we had beaten it so many times. I was so sure that 1% miracle is reserved for us. Like, we are the 1% miracle people. And so in fact, and it's what I was saying, like, so something is telling me it's happening, but it's something is telling me we are the miracle. We're going to surprise the whole world. We've beat it before. We've been like 3-4 times before. So what happened is that I went to see her the day before, and that girl was full of energy. She jumped up. She said, "Oh, I'm okay. I'm feeling great. Something is really, really good in me." 24 hours later, she was out. Even if I'm telling you, like, I knew 2 weeks, there's something that just opens up here, and it's a hole that just forms, and you go now. You cannot be prepared for this. So even if I told you, even if you saw it, it never really prepares you. And back to what you had asked earlier, pet peeves in this area.
Yes, when friends come to see you and
yes, friends,
comfort you, relatives.
Yes. While everyone relates, I mean, how everyone is good intentioned. There is nothing as annoying as hearing it's God's plan. That's like the most annoying thing I've ever had. So why were we praying? You know, this is what the grieving person asks. So why are we praying? Why were we even bothering? If you're going to come here and everyone comes and says, you be easy, what is it? Be strong. It's God's plan. RIP. You know, like.
What would you have wanted to hear?
Silence. Don't talk.
But you'd have wanted them to be there.
Be there.
Just be there, but don't
be
say
there.
anything.
Stop. In fact, the people who encouraged me most are the people who, while they were sad, allowed us to have normal conversation, so that I'm the one who initiates the grief. But other than that, we talk like normal people.
Wow. And like nothing even happened.
Nothing. Like, it's not there. Because it's the elephant in the room.
Yeah.
It's like, at this point, in the early grieving stages, I'm running away from it also.
Yeah.
We don't want to sit here and then another thing is, everyone, for some reason, I cannot tell you Michael is dead without everyone asking what are the gruesome details. Why do people, so from morning you're retelling the story.
And you retell to everyone who comes in.
So you start retelling from morning. Yeah. Oh, she was healthy on Thursday, she's died on Friday. Next phone call, what happened? So, like, you will get to know the news anyway.
And let me
get to know
this.
how it happened. Yeah.
Was there a difference between the way older people would approach you versus your peers and younger people? Were there differences between, are younger people more sensitive? Because maybe there's a generation where there were no secrets.
I think the people who were found to be most sensitive were the close friends. It's not even an age group thing. Okay. It's people who are sensitive to you. But people who are third party are really interested in the juicy story. Shucks. So the truth is, everyone, for example, her story will keep on asking, so, wow. You know, this is Udaku. Don't tell me she passed peacefully, it was so smooth. People don't want to hear that. People want to hear the crazy story. There was screaming, there was blood, there was gore, there was, and then so that they can keep retelling. Hey, did you hear this? This is how. This is
so for them it's a story, and
it's a story, and for you it's a reality. So I mean, one of the things that I ask people to be sensitive: don't rush to find out. The details will come out anyway. It will come out anyway. I mean, if you last a week, somebody will tell you, right? And secondly, so to quickly rush, please understand, grieving, just like religion, is personal.
Okay.
Grieving is very personal. So the way I do it, let me do it my way.
Yeah.
Don't have advice. I mean, especially when you find people it's really irritating. People who have not grieved before are the new experts. They know. They are the new experts. They know. Oh, by the way, you should be doing this. Yes. It's true. So everyone suddenly is a know-it-all. Yeah. But it's so personal the way you do it your way. And if you don't do it your way and you do it society's way, for me as a widower, our society kind of gives me more of a break. They let me go through my madness. Widows are really, you'll see the harassment that will go to this wife of the MP. You will, like, everyone has an opinion on how she should do things.
Why doesn't she look like this?
Why isn't she dressed like this? And why are you happy? Why are you smiling? If George is happy, everyone is at least George is okay. If Ash is happy, that one was waiting for him.
So women,
it's more harsh.
It's horrible for widows. Okay. We are a very unforgiving society, you know. And also, finally, other than, so let everyone grieve their own way. You have no idea what they are going through. And finally, the best way to support somebody is to support all other elements of their life. Don't support the grieving. Take care of the children. Help with their other things. Allow them the time to think about the grieving. Don't spend time just coming to talk about the dead. Come and ask, who is dropping the kids to school? Let me drop the kids. That's how you support. You don't support the grieving by going there and acting sad and crying. You know, that phone call there and help me.
So you try to fill the gaps because you know now it's probably
So you stand in the shopping. So have you done your shopping? Have you done this?
The children need something.
Who is your nanny? Has your nanny been paid?
Yeah.
All these other things, because you're mentally fatigued, and that's how you support. And that's how the people who supported me really came through.
And they're the ones you remember.
Exactly. So right now, you couldn't sit with your children because you're pretending they smile. They say, look, I'll take the kids for a week. Yeah. So your work is not to come to bring more sadness to a house that's already sad.
Bring solutions.
Bring their things, to help. Operational things.
Let's see. And we've said so much. We've talked about anticipatory grief. Can one prepare? We've talked about what are the best ways to help someone who's grieving. What are your thoughts?
What I think is people should be very sensitive. I remember my case when I had already given birth. Then somebody told me, you know, you're not supposed to cry because you have a daughter. That person did not understand how I'm feeling. Because the time I was holding my daughter, that was like 3 days, 4 days after. She told me, you know, when you cry and you're holding your daughter, you already have, I told that person, I wish you knew what I'm going through. I wished the person would just tell me, let me hold this baby, take a nap, like six or so hours, than telling me not to cry. Because even the time when I was at before my mom was buried, somebody told me, you know, you're pregnant, you're not supposed to cry, you're just supposed to be calm, you're going to stress your baby. I wish the people would understand what I'm going through.
Again, people were not
they were very insensitive. Some people were very insensitive because somebody telling me not to cry. How do you expect me to mourn my mother if I don't cry? Did you come into my shoes and find out how am I feeling? Because I needed to mourn my mother so that it gets over me. And then because now the baby, you know, the challenges of the baby, at night you don't sleep, at least somebody would just come and say, let me hold your baby a bit, you take a nap. You see, nobody was there to come and say, probably 6 or so hours, let me hold the baby, because the first 3 months was very traumatizing.
So you were dealing with lack of sleep?
Lack of sleep.
You did not see your mom being buried?
Yes.
And also you have a new child.
And a new child, and then so the child was trying to adapt. I remember when I was in the hospital, before I was discharged. So the first night, the baby was crying a lot. And then the nurse came and told me, what have you done to the baby? I looked at the nurse and said, what did you just say? do you think I can do something to the baby? I wish she would have told me, what is the problem? How can I assist you? So I told her, it is fine, just let me be. Then on a second one, the baby was crying continuously. At that time, that was a Saturday when my mom was being buried. So that was at night. So the baby was, I think probably she was being accustomed to the new environment. So the baby cried for like almost 2 hours. Then the next time the nurse came and told me, she came, at least her, she was very sensitive. She sat down and asked me, what is the problem? Probably there was no milk coming because of the stress. So I told her, I don't think there's enough milk. Probably, would you please just take the baby for me for like 4 or so hours I rest? And then she took the baby, and that really helped me a lot because at least I slept. I had not slept the whole week because of the funeral and everything. So that time, I think the baby was hungry or something and needed milk. So I didn't have enough milk at that particular point. So the first nurse was very insensitive. She asked me, what have you done to the baby? I just looked at her. I didn't have words for her. I just kept quiet. Then she walked away. So I think during the morning on grief, people should try and choose words you talk. You see, you might not understand what that person is going through. Do not say it is well, it is God's plan. We know it's God's plan, but let the person, like he said, it's better to be silent and try and support where you can. But saying some words are very
Painful.
Sensitive.
Okay. Anything you want to add to what they've said before we hear from our psychologist?
I would just want to say that some of these experiences are really traumatizing. And one of the words that I've grown to hate is to be told, I understand. So, because...
I understand.
Because you feel you don't understand.
Yeah, because cases are unique. So, and some of these people telling you, you know, when you go to someone and telling them, seriously, I feel something, and then they tell you understand, some of these people have never even been such through experiences. A good example is a few weeks ago, I had a carjacking experience at gunpoint.
Wow.
And then I came, I went silent. You know, I came back in the country, and that's the first experience that I have. So I was suffering some withdrawal and avoiding even traveling air. So I told some people, and the first thing someone tells you is that I understand, and this is Kenya. So
I understand this is Kenya.
This is Kenya.
So I think whatever what he said is true. Sometimes just show up. Just don't be there trying to tell someone nice words, because sometimes you've never been there, so you might say things that really don't make sense to them.
Even make it worse.
Yeah. So just be there, just fill in the gap.
Okay.
Yeah.
And Diana, this is a very interesting conversation, because there are also those who claim that people grieve in different ways. They would prefer silence. But when you hear some relatives when they're saying that he's in denial, you need to speak to them more. And how do you bridge that gap? How do you tell that this is the right way for this person to grieve? As a friend now coming in for support, how can you tell?
And I have this mental image of an aunt saying, kwa nini hauli?
Mbona hauli? Na mbona hataki kuongea?
Hataki kuongea.
You know, actually, the main thing actually is just being patient. Just be patient and allow this person to take their time. The main thing, allow them to cry as much as they can. Just be there. I like what he mentioned, like do something. Yeah. Come there and do something. The best you can do, I am so sorry for your loss. I'm here to help, and what can I do for you? And that's okay.
3 simple lines.
Exactly, as in simple and short.
Yeah.
Just don't be too wordy and
much conversation.
Exactly, because I understand you can be confused at that time and you're wondering what can I say, what can I do? But just be there. Your presence will be enough. Yeah.
And sometimes when you're dealing with someone who's a public figure, people don't understand that, because I remember I was in my grandfather's burial and I'm smacked by the side of the grave and people wanted to take pictures. And these are people asking you and you're thinking, are you really serious? You want to take a picture now? Yeah. So it's just the support. That's what friends don't know how to do. Yeah, and how to go through that.
And it's interesting you said that, because I wonder sometimes in some groups, people at a funeral and they're taking pictures and sending them on WhatsApp, and I'm like, is that
you know, sometimes
appropriate? Yeah, sorry, go ahead.
sometimes we really cannot control what the public can do. We understand people are different. The best thing I can advise people to do, be patient with yourself, and walk away from negative comments. And even when you're ready, take the courage to approach maybe your friends. Whatever you said, it's hurtful, and I'm not ready to talk about it. Please give me time. Yeah.
And now, at what point do you give space? Because also there's a difference when I'm always there every other day, and you're thinking, why are you here?
I believe during, grief has stages, and, during that denial bit whereby you haven't been able to process everything, and it's a defense mechanism. Especially during the initial stages, just give the person time. Show up, do the shopping, just make sure they are okay, because they can hurt themselves. Just check on their security, but give them time. You can tell them when you're ready, we can always talk about it.
And before you take that break, there's the issue of symbols and signs, things that trigger you. For her, it's her daughter, the birthday comes, it's a bundle of joy, but also a reminder of the things that used to be there. Are you supposed to keep symbols around you? If there's something that...
how long do you keep clothes for?
Jewelry, a watch that I bought her, or something like that. Should I keep it with me?
Yeah, they're known as mementos, whereby it's something unique and personal, and you choose something that works for you. I work for Still a Mom, whereby we work with bereaved parents, and for us, we really encourage our clients to plant trees in memory of their children. So just choose something that will work for you. There's the issues of memorial boxes, a footprint, and all that. But for some people, these triggers can bring them back to that. So just be patient with yourself. Choose something that will work for you. But it is healthy to have a reminder of the deceased.
I'd like to hear what George thinks on this issue of reminders before we take a break. There are some things that remind you of the good times, and you'd rather keep them.
Yes. Okay. So about mementos, my house, we still have very, very lovely pictures of Janet and all. The hardest thing I found, I'll go into the hardest things about the mementos, is clothes. Clothes shock you because we spend so much money buying clothes, like the nice suit you're wearing. So let's say you depart this earth. Suddenly it just becomes stuff. That favorite outfit of hers just becomes some pile of cotton. Now, what do you do with it? You can't sell it. You can't give it so that you see your friend wearing it. You can't burn it. What do you do with it? The clothes are hard, and I'm still struggling. I've not even all this time I've not been able to figure out clothes. But the way I see mementos and things that trigger, what I've done is that I took a decision to celebrate my time. That's my approach that has helped me heal. And all the memories, I talk to Janet's pictures, in all the decisions that I'm going through and everything. And for me, it's a reminder of what was good, not what we lost. That's for me. And I'm not saying it works for everyone, but for me, it also helped accelerate my acceptance. Because, like I said, you need to run towards the pain, because the pain is a lot. But when you run towards it, then you start to see the good. And also, when you talk, when the memories come out, and then you talk to other people about the good times you had, it kind of just... Unapoa. That's what,
even speaking to our pictures, does that give you some sense of relief, some sense of closure?
Even speaking to, like we used to like to go for New Jack Swing, up in Langata, just going for it. For like 20 minutes you're talking to yourself, but you're talking to her, saying, hey, you'd have danced this. And it's not sad. It's I hope you're dancing wherever you are. There's some nostalgia, there's some missment, time makes the conversations better. Of course, you start with why did you go, why all this, but it changes into regular conversation. And so allow the person who has, or let them keep their mementos, even if they keep it for 20 years.
Like guys who keep a room, the room is attached.
Let them keep it. Let them keep it. I have a friend who lost triplets. He's never been unable to undo the room. Somebody will come and say, oh, you know, you're hanging on, you're not letting go. People will say all manner of things. I always told him, do you.
Stay with
you. How are you going to tell him to dismantle that room? Where do you do? You know, guys don't reason.
And it's not even in your place.
Where do you take this stuff? Do you sell it? Then you do what with the money? You get it? It will eat you. What do you do with this stuff? What, if you were to sell your wife's stuff, to who? Can you imagine? I'm auctioning Janet's clothes. You let people deal. These mementos are not as bad as
Okay, you want to say something?
Yeah,
okay.
I think with mementos, you really have to be, because when you become too attached to them, that's where a problem comes in. Because it's at the end of the day, grief is a process. You're taking a step at a time, but too much attachment to them will lead to other conditions like complicated grief disorders, prolonged grief disorders. So just being aware of how you feel, why am I having these things? What does it remind me of? How attached am I to these things? So just be aware of how you handle the mementos, because they can lead to something more.
All right.
Okay.
We really have to take a quick break now. There's a lot of feedback coming through. We'll read that after the break. Let's just take that quick break and then we come back with what you're saying online.